Well, I'm Lisa Toohey. I own Cake Expressions by Lisa. I'm located in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mainly make wedding cakes, but as all cake artists do, we love our clients. They ask us for specialty cakes. We can't say no. So anyway, and I do make a lot of sugar flowers, which I absolutely love. One thing that kind of gets to all of us is how fragile they can be. And that that's okay. You just have to be very careful with them. But if you guys were on here earlier and I said I saw a sugar flower made out of paper, but was edible, I was very intrigued. Debbie told me it was SmArt Sheets, so I started playing. And so today, this is what I made. So it's this beautiful sugar rose. And you guys, are you ready for this? I'm going to squish it.
No way.
And I'm going to let it go.
Oh, wow.
Right? You cannot do this. I mean, just picture when we have a whole bouquet, all these sugar flowers that we're trying to put together and arrange nicely on the cake, and you can't squish them in where you want them to be, fill in all the gaps, because if they touch too much, they break. They're not very movable. But this, I mean, this is crazy. It's so soft and flexible. Yeah.
And it's the fact that it bounces back. It looks so lifelike. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I made these petals 3 days ago. So wow. It's still, and I'll tell you this, this is the first one that I made, and this I conditioned the sugar sheets with the paper potion. And tonight I'm not going to do that, because I did find it took a long time for each petal to kind of hold its shape. Mm-hmm. And we don't have that much time. So even just in life, just in general, not just tonight, but just in general, we just don't have that much time. So I did another one. And this one, I conditioned it with water and some alcohol, just some clear vodka. So the petals dried a lot faster. And while I can still squish it, can you see that? I'm still squishing it. It's not quite as flexible, although it is bouncing back pretty well. So the first thing we have to do is we're going to cut out a few of our petals. So I just made a little rough stencil of some rose petals and just used my rose cutters for that. And what I do is I work on the biggest ones first, and you will see why as we go along. And so for this size, I really just need 7 petals. So I'll just cut these real quick. And
is it just me, or are you cutting 2 petals at once?
I am cutting 2 petals at once.
That's awesome.
I could do 3, but and so this is why I'm glad that you're on here, Stacy, about the cutting. So a lot of people have electronic cutting machines. Now, listen, I have had mine for probably 3 years now, and I have used it exactly 0 times.
Oh, that's I know. Bad.
Right? Isn't that terrible? Yeah, I really, really need to reserve some time to learn how to use it, because I think with the SmArt Sheets, it would probably be pretty easy to get these cut very quickly. What do you think? Because I know wafer paper is difficult, but I think SmArt Sheets, you could cut through those, right?
Yeah, you could cut through wafer or SmArt Sheet. I've done both on a Cricut using a little bit of vegetable shortening as an adhesive.
Nice.
And it works it's pretty quick too.
Yeah. That is.
I'm not going to say that's the best way to do it, because I love how each petal is coming out just a little different. It's giving it a more lifelike feel. Like, that's the one thing I think is the advantage of the cutter is it's faster, but the disadvantage is you lose some of that natural look from it being ever so slightly not perfect.
Right. Right. I think it would be good for more intricate, like if we wanted to do peonies with kind of ruffled edges, that could be, and depending on the amount of flowers that you need to make, you know, if we're only making a few, then this way is fine. And obviously, for me, I will probably never actually learn how to use my Cricut.
Now we can work on that.
If we're being honest. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I just have some dust colors. And the really fun thing is I can make these two-toned very, very easily. Okay.
What did you mix in for the liquid?
So the liquid, it's just a mixture of water and vodka.
Okay.
That's all. And this is a buttercup petal dust. And in this one, I'm going to add a little bit more because it uses quite a bit. This one, I have a watermelon pink. And I'm going to put in a little bit of white. I would have used just pink, straight pink luster or petal dust, but I am out. So I'll just kind of tone this down a little bit and then add a little bit more of my liquid.
That's perfect. I love seeing people work around little obstacles, like not having the exact product that they need and how they come up with the same product in a different way.
Yeah. Well, we have to, right? Okay, so you guys are going to love this. All right, so let's get started. So, and the nice thing is you can work on a few petals at once. You don't have to do one at a time. Maybe I should just do one to start with, though, just to show everybody this first one. So I'm just going to get the yellow. I want to have the yellow down at the bottom. Ooh, that's nice and bright. I'm starting on the smooth side. Just because that's how I want it. And you can be more generous with the liquid than you can with wafer paper.
Right.
Because wafer paper, if you use too much, it's, as we know, it's very tacky and dissolves. You need the cornstarch. There's another great thing about this. Look at this. I don't need any cornstarch for this technique.
Not at all.
I love it. So much fun.
And Susan had a great question. She would like to know, what was the ratio of water to vodka?
Now, that's a very good question. And
that sounds like a loaded question.
That's a loaded question. Honestly, oh, goodness. I didn't measure it out, I'll be honest. It's going to depend on the humidity in your area, how much that you really do want to put in there. But I probably have a couple tablespoons of water to a few drops of vodka.
Oh, wow. So it's a lot less vodka than I expected.
Yeah. Now you can probably use a lot more. That the problem is once your petals dry, they could be really brittle, and we don't want them to be brittle. And we want them to dry in a decent amount of time, but they don't need to dry super fast.
Gotcha.
So as you can see, I just did both my colors on both sides. I'm just going to put it in the mold. Now, this is one thing. If you look up close, you're not going to see a whole lot of veining. So there's pros and cons to everything. One of them is it does not hold its veining like wafer or gum paste does, but it still has something there.
Yeah.
And then, so just like the larger rose petal, I just take a little toothpick, roll back my edges, and then I'm going to put it into a former. So this is, let me move this before I spill it everywhere. This is just a fruit tray that I probably got at Aldi. And I'm just going to lay it in there and let it hang out while we do some more. So that's it. Yeah.
So you, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I thought that was a little bit bright.
I think you're one step ahead of me because you told me a little bit ago that you could do more than one petal at a time. And I was like, I want to see you do more than one at a time.
I'm going to do
'Cause
more
I
than one at
know
a time
we're
now.
always looking for shortcuts that don't
That's right.
sacrifice quality.
All right. So now I'll work on the two. Well, yeah, talk about shortcuts. What you could do these petals probably days in advance before you even put it together on your rose. Because once they hold their shape, once they dry enough to hold their shape, they still stay, as you can see, soft and flexible.
Yeah.
And you can attach it and make your flowers when you're ready. So you can have production days where you're just making a bunch of petals and then go back and put it all together again.
Absolutely. And let's see, we got another comment. Jessie Ann Riley said she uses 1/4 vodka to 3/4 water, so at 25%.
There we go.
And that has me wondering, have you tried using paper potion as your mixing agent?
So I did use the paper potion straight, and that was what I did for this first rose.
Gotcha. That was the one you said it took a little bit longer to set up.
Right. So this did take a long time. I think I did wait till the next day before I even put it on. And at first I thought, this is crazy. This is never even going to work. But it did set up enough. And I haven't played with it often enough to know proportions. So I think with the paper potion, I maybe could add some water to that or add some vodka to that to help it dry out a bit faster if we wanted.
Absolutely.
But that I haven't played with it.
Cool.
So here I just veined the two, and I'm just going to roll them back and put them in my former.
I love that fancy tool you're using for rolling the petals.
It's pretty good.
That is amazing. Yeah. Where did you find that?
I think, the local Dollar Tree.
Oh, awesome. I didn't know they were selling cake supplies. That's great.
It's my handy giant toothpicks. Oh my goodness. I know, right? I'm sure I have the professional version somewhere, but I think because I keep dropping them on the floor and then I just go get a new one, it's good to have disposable. All right, so now we're going to get moving a little bit here. So we've got to do the pink. Now
and this is giving me so many great ideas.
Yeah, I can't wait to try some other flowers. I think there's just a lot of varieties that we could do with this. And even using paper punch to punch out some shapes if you needed to. There's a lot. So I expect to see a lot of people on the live making some SmArt sheet flowers and showing them off.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you on any social media accounts? Because I would love it if people would tag you and Icing Images whenever they submit their homework assignments and post their pictures.
Oh, I would love that too. I am on all socials as Cake Expressions by Lisa. Oh, not all. Sorry, not TikTok. So Facebook and Instagram at Cake Expressions by Lisa.
All right.
Try to keep it pretty.
I am going to go find those pages and post those for you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So there's two more. Do we have any questions about how these petals are made? Anything?
So I haven't seen any other questions come up, and I think that's because you're doing such a great job of covering all the bases as you go.
Okay. All right. Well, then I am not going to bore everybody with doing this on all of the petals. Let me just show you where we're at here. So we've got about 5 of them. They're pretty bright. But because what I did through the magic of television is I pre-made a few of the petals and shaped them so that they would be dry and ready so that I can put it all together and show you. So
Gotcha. That's awesome.
I think we're gonna stop on the individual petals at this point, and I'm gonna show you how we do the center and hopefully get it all together. So for the centers, this is a gum paste teardrop that I attached to an 18 gauge wire. The first time that I made this, I used a styrofoam former that we usually use for gum paste because it keeps it for gum paste flowers because it keeps it lighter. I had trouble getting the sugar sheet to attach to this. So instead of giving up, I was like, all right, let me try it with the gum paste. And with the gum paste, it stuck a lot easier. So if anybody else wants to try it and can get it to work on the styrofoam, have at it. Let me know how you did it. But yeah, I was having some trouble with that. So I made my own gum paste center. And so that is what we are going to use. So for the very first layer of the rose, I just cut a strip. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the top and the bottom of it. The bottom a little bit yellow. You don't really see the yellow on this, but let's just keep it consistent.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Flip it over. And we'll go with more yellow. And the pink. Okay. And now to get the sugar sheets to stick, you have a choice of using, I make a gum glue using some Tylose and water, or you can take some piping gel and thin that down with water. Either one of these mediums will work.
Okay.
So what I do is I'll just paint this over. Okay. And take my sheet. Can you see this? I'm just going to place it over top.
It's perfect. Yeah.
On one side, and then we're going to pull nice and tight to get that really pretty perfect center.
Move it closer to you by just a little bit.
Okay.
There you go.
And then put a little bit of glue where it overlaps. And then the excess, I just kind of tear that off. All right. So there you go. That's it. That's your center. All done.
Perfect.
All right.
So someone asked a question.
Okay.
Kate wanted to know, have you ever tried using a Rice Krispie center?
I have not. But that is a great idea.
I think Kate just volunteered to experiment.
I think she did. I think she did. I think that's a great idea. I mean, too much. I know we use too much styrofoam, too much plastic. I like that. I'm going to try it as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Debbie also said that you could try making clay by mixing a SmArt sheet and enough water that it turns into a paste.
Ooh. That sounds interesting. How long would that take to harden enough to start working with it, I wonder?
I'm not sure. I've never tried making, I've made clay with icing sheets before, but not with a SmArt sheet. So,
Very interesting. I like that. All kinds of different ways to make some rose centers. I have to give them a try. Okay, so now as you can see, I'm just doing that same technique as before, just with some smaller petals. And I'm going to use 3, so I'm going to do all 3 at once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, we have so many ideas coming in now.
Oh, really?
So, Kelly said in the Wilton method classes they used jelly beans for the centers.
Jelly
Isn't that
beans.
an idea?
That's interesting. Those would be a little small. These are pretty big, the ones that I make.
Oh, well, I only
That's
buy jumbo jelly beans.
jumbo. That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. And so let's see. How does Jessie Ann said, crumble up SmArt Sheet waste. Once it's wet, form it into a cone, and it will work as the center for the flower.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to start attaching these. So as you can see, I'm not sure if you saw, I did brush a bit of the piping gel water mixture around the base.
Mm-hmm. Can you move that just a little bit closer to you? There you go.
Here? Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So I will pick up my first petal, and so these center ones, as you can see, I didn't vein it. There's really no need to. You won't see it. And yeah, so save a step. You really don't need to do that. So I've got one. I'm going to tuck my second one inside a little bit. And I will tuck my third one right in there. And then I'll just take a little bit more of the piping gel where they overlap, where I want them to attach a little. I don't want to use a lot. And just down at the bottom. Whoops. So then if you want to curl them back, we can try and get it to curl a little bit. You can use my handy dandy little toothpick roll, or just try and get it to bend because it's so soft.
Yeah, I love how pliable it is. If I didn't know any better, like if I was just watching this on mute, I would think that you were working with a gum paste with how thin that is and how it's just holding its shape.
I really like it. I like it more every time I make it. Kind of cool, huh? Okay. All right. So let me get my other petals that I made earlier that are nice and dry now. So I've got some of these so you can see them here. Okay. And I am just going to attach them onto the center, just like you would a gum paste rose. I mean,
I was going to say, I was waiting for the next layer to go on, but I was thinking you're assembling this the same way you would when making a gum paste rose using individual petals.
Yes.
Awesome.
Which I don't do it that way very often. I do a kind of a faster way, but when you want it to be a little, okay. So these petals I made a couple hours ago, and you can see they're a little bit stiffer. I don't know if you can tell. Hopefully I can get it to bend back a little bit. It's this guy's really holding its shape. So I just take one, I'm going to take another one. And sometimes you need 3 hands. As I say, as it falls down on me. I'm not even surprised about that at all.
It's because we're live, that's why.
I know. And yeah, I'm actually really surprised these did are they gonna make me spray them with the paper potion?
Maybe
they are a little bit stiffer than I was hoping they'd be, but let's see if we can get them to stay on here. All right.
Yeah, and we've been getting some comments in the chat with people saying how much they're loving this and just the technique and the different way you're thinking about this.
Oh, good. Good. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully, when you make them, they come out a little bit better than what's happening right now.
It's all
I
right.
swear it really works. It really does work. Here we go.
You showed us
All
the
right.
proof. You had a couple earlier that it worked
I
just
did.
fine.
I did show you a few. All right. Now that I have them basically on, because I don't have to worry about it breaking, I'm going to be a little bit rougher with it and try and get them to stay where I want.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys. No, you're not going
And
to
that's one of
stick.
the great things about working with edible glue, like either a Tylose glue or a piping gel glue, or even little honeys. You have so much working time before it starts to set that you can move things
Yeah.
around like this.
Yes. Oh, definitely. All right. It's kind of working for me. That one's not really where I want it to be, but come on. You can stay there. Okay. Whew. Always when you're live, I'll tell you.
Always, always.
Maybe I should have stuck with the CMC glue, which is what I used for the other ones. So I'm not really thrilled with the piping gel right now. So if they say too,
Oh.
never experiment when you're I'm just gonna have to pull this away. Hang on, my fingers are all sticky.
It's all right.
All
And
right.
we had a question. Lori
Okay.
asked, have you ever tried using a little bit of glycerin in your vodka and water mixture to make it more pliable and flexible?
I have not with the SmArT Sheet because again, I just started playing with this,
Mhm.
so I am learning as I go, and um, thinking right now that was probably would be a good idea right now. For these petals here, I may just have a little too much vodka in there. Because like I said, the other ones that I had made stayed super, super soft and flexible.
Mhm.
And these guys are
Well,
not holding up
I
quite as well. All
no,
righty.
and I'm thinking this is one of the excellent things that we've learned on this live so far is that if you use a little bit more vodka, it makes it a touch stiffer. So that would be perfect for adding petals to the side of a cake or on a cookie.
Yeah.
If you use less vodka, it retains that pliability. And if you have the extra time to let it condition, use the paper potion. And I love that because make it a few days ahead, make it a week ahead, and it'll still be pliable when you're ready to assemble.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But the important part is the fact that you're experimenting with something and you're trying something new and you're showing it to us live. So everyone gets to see, the different techniques. We get to talk about what's going on, pop ideas out there. And I'm really excited to see what everyone comes up with when they try this on their own.
No, me too, for sure. For sure. Okay. I've got them on. I'm gonna let this hang upside down for a little bit. And
Okay.
before I even attempt to do the other layer. Um, so never fear, we have more to do. What I'm going to show you now is how to actually wire the petals.
Yes. I'm excited
So,
about this because normally with wafer paper, you make two layers. So how do you do it with a smart sheet?
well, I do use some gum paste. And again, this
Okay.
is just kind of a quick method. And um, one of the reasons I thought about this, so what I'm going to do is I have, this is gum paste. So I have a
Okay.
ton of white gum paste roses to make, and I'm going to have to put them very close together on the cake. Again, you have that issue with them not being flexible with breaking. And so
Hmm.
I thought, well, what if I do an outer layer with the SmArT Sheet, which will kind of protect it?
No
So
way. I
that's
didn't
what,
even notice that that was different.
and it,
Ah,
you know, this is really easy on a white flower. It's easy to do on a white flower, but yeah, so these are, the outside is the SmArt sheet and the inside is just a regular gum paste center.
that's amazing.
And I wired it so that, you know, you can open it up more or do whatever you need to do while you're putting it together.
Yeah.
And while that,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that the underside of these are not pretty. It's not pretty, but you're not going to see it the way the way that it will be arranged. But I just thought, again, let's experiment. Let's see if this will actually work. And yes, it does. So
Yeah.
let me
And
just grab this.
yeah,
Go
and
ahead,
Sharita
Susie.
just said, wow, that is so smart with doing the gum paste in the center and adding the other petals or the SmArt sheet petals to the outside so it's flexible.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry, I might mispronounce this, but Taisha says, wow. Like that's all she has to say, just wow.
Wow. No, I love it. I love it. So, because I don't know, I mean, I'm pretty fast at making gum paste roses and probably faster at making just the gum paste ones rather than the SmArt sheet, especially at this
Mhm.
point. But having this option to have the outside of it be the SmArt sheet, yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. I'm glad everybody is thinking the same. So fantastic. Okay, so here I just have some 26 gauge wires, my SmArt sheet that I just conditioned. And I'm just going to take a little bit, and this is called the twiddle method. So you can do it on, well, you probably couldn't do it like that. I don't know. The groove boards that you
Mhm.
would use for gum paste, but I just do it this way. So I just have a little ball of gum paste here. I stick it on the end of the wire, and then I'm just going to rotate. Hopefully it works. Rotate it around so it attaches, pull off any excess. You don't need a whole lot.
Yeah, that's a tiny, tiny amount.
So a tiny amount, put it on the back of your SmArt Sheet petal, again, into
And
your
when you say
veiner.
when you say the back, are you referring to the smooth side or the textured side?
I put it on the smooth side. That's what I use as
Okay.
the back. And you can see it's not perfect right now. Obviously, the gum paste is wet. There's a little bit of a
Yeah.
different color, but we're not going to see that part. And then you
Right. That'll
honestly
be inside.
just do the exact same thing as before. Roll your petals, put it in your former, and leave it to dry.
Perfect.
So then I'll just push that down, fix this up a little bit. This is another thing with the SmArt Sheets as well. If your petals don't curve the way that you want at first because it's a little bit too wet, you can wait
Mhm.
5 minutes or so and then go back in and reform it, and it'll
Yep.
hold its shape better. But these are obviously some petals that I made earlier so that I can show you how I tape it all together. And
Awesome. I can't
again,
wait.
this technique really is exactly like you would do with wired gum paste petals. So I'm just going to take my floral tape, scissors, cut some off here, stretch it out to release the glue. Okay, I'm going to take my petals that I had made, and some of these cracked a little bit, so just ignore that. we're
That's
going for the
okay.
technique here, not for looks on this one.
Nope, that's all right. Sometimes
So
things like that happen when you're on a compressed schedule.
yeah. Okay, so I've just got all these pulled back. So I just take my gum paste rose. I'll start wrapping the floral tape, and then just one at a time. Tape it around. Sort them out. There's one there.
Sherita just dropped a truth bomb on us. We
Oh,
are
what
the
was that?
only ones that will. We are the only ones that will notice the cracks. Nobody else will see them.
Aw, thanks for that. Yeah, let's hope, right? Well, here we go.
And also, Carol Ann said this is lovely, and she is thanking you for the demo.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I know I'm sure everybody's got a lot of things to do, so we really appreciate you taking the time to watch, and hopefully this works out for everybody and they enjoy trying out the technique. So there we go. Super easy. I've got all my petals on. I can move them around. And that one little outer layer of the SmArT Sheet petals will really protect these petals when we go to put it all together. Because now we have the two, and you can see I can squish them, I can put them together nice and tight. And there's no way you're doing that with just straight gum paste. No. So,
and what I'm seeing here is not having to wrap every individual flower in tissue paper. That's what I'm seeing.
Oh, you are right. You are right about that too. So there you go. So that one worked out pretty well.